So I know how many of you are feeling. You feel like dating sucks. And I understand. and I hope you don't feel that way, but I know many of you feel that way, okay? I know it feels like everything seems so complicated, men seem so difficult, it's just not what it used to be. And, we all wish it was just a simpler process. But it can be simpler. It can be better, and you can experience a lot better results. But you have to understand why things are so difficult. What's creating this frustrating process that many of you are going through. Now, some things are completely out of your control. But my focus is to give you the things that are more in your control or that you can be aware of, okay? And there'll be a couple exceptions on this list so that you can start making some adjustments. Because again, once we accept the power we have to create better results, then that's a lot better than just being a victim of life and saying, oh, there's nothing we can do at all about this. And there's some things. So one of the first things you can start doing that will make dating men a lot better is focusing less on the outcome and more on the experience. So here's what I mean. Let me first start off by saying, I don't want you to confuse that with just go with the flow. Don't be intentional in your dating, getting caught up in situationships that last years only for you to feel cheated, used, and taken advantage of. Because many of you are finding yourselves in that situation, and it's not healthy for you when that's not where you really want to be, right? So I don't want you to think that's where I'm pushing you towards. What I mean by focusing on the experience is more so with those initial dates, okay? And what I'm noticing from a lot of women is that just going on the date, especially that first date, can be so nerve-wracking because we're worried about it working out and if we'll find the one and we're hoping and maybe even fantasizing about this dream outcome. But then we're forgetting about the actual process of the date. we're forgetting about actually enjoying yourself. Like, if you go on there worrying about the outcome, then you won't be able to be present in the moment. And it's being present in the moment that will allow you to be more involved, bring a better energy, and also enjoy it. Not to mention, by not focusing so much on the outcome, when the date itself doesn't go well, and when I say doesn't go well, meaning it's not a love connection. You go on this date, maybe you had a good time, maybe it was a great dinner, whatever the case may be, but ultimately, it wasn't the right guy. When you are focused on the experience, you can take that more in stride and it doesn't discourage you for your next experience. But when you're focused on the outcome and it doesn't work out, now you're discouraged by the lack of the outcome that you wanted. Now you get to a point that you develop what I call dating fatigue, and you don't feel like going out anymore. And you feel like, oh, it's never the right guy and it's just taking forever. But that's not how you should be looking at it. Enjoy and learn. And that's a big one. Learn. Learn about yourself. Learn about, not even just learn, but learn how to be more of who you really are, how to flow naturally in conversation with this man. Because there's a lot of women, when they are focused on the outcome, who go into these dates and they don't realize they come across as interrogating the man. That's not a pleasant experience. And so even if, we have to understand that even if you are dating a potentially good candidate, if you come with bad energy, if you coming across too tense, difficult, it can throw everything off. All right. So you want to relax, enjoy, and again, focus on the experience. Now, I also have to throw in there that focusing and enjoying the experience does not mean taking dates just for free meals or because you're bored. Now, I know some of you would say, come on, Stefan, we would never do that. Okay, you specifically, but there are people who've done it. Some of your friends, whether you realize it or not, may have done it or are doing it. It happens. It happens a lot more than some of you realize. So I have to mention it just in case. And just in case you are that person doing it. I don't encourage that. I'm not co-signing that, okay? But as long as there's a genuine interest or, an openness to seeing where this can go, all right, then yeah, go on that date and relax. And I'm telling you, you will start to just have a better overall dating experience. The date itself will be of a higher quality and the overall process of dating will get a lot better. All right, now the next reason why dating men nowadays is so hard is because you're not creating enough opportunities for yourself. So I can't even count on one hand. There's too many times to count. Or maybe a better way to say it is, if I had a nickel for every time a woman says, this dating sucks and I can't meet no men, and I ask them, well, what are you doing to meet men? And the response is nothing, I'd be a billionaire right now, okay? I'm exaggerating, but you get the point. Like, so many women who are frustrated with dating aren't even putting themselves out there, okay? They're not creating opportunities. Now, let's start with, and when I say real life, I mean in-person physical opportunities. So getting out, going out places. Many of you aren't taking advantage of that, aren't finding ways to get out there. Now, I don't think the focus should be so much on go out to meet a man, so to speak. Because I always say the best place to meet a man is where you're happiest. So I want you just to get out the house to enjoy yourself, okay? But in enjoying yourself and doing things that you like, you are creating more opportunities where you can meet individuals out there, men and women, whether it be for friendship, work, but also for romantic reasons. Men that now that could also have a similar interest as you, because let's just say, for example, you love art festivals. I'm just using something random. So by you actually making an effort to go out to some art festivals and then you come across a man at this festival, well, now you met someone who has a similar interest as you, all right? And you have something that you guys can start talking about and kind of start bonding on and then go from there to see if there's more to this potential connection or whatever. So just going where you enjoy, putting yourself out there. And then when you do go out and step out the house, making yourself more approachable, because it's not even just about going out to specific places. The reality is that in the natural flow of life, whether it's at the grocery store, gas station, whatever, right? We come across people. The problem is, for a lot of women, they don't make themselves approachable. Now, I completely understand and respect that there's some scenarios you don't want to be approached. You don't want to be bothered. That's perfectly fine, okay? But again, consider where you can make yourself more approachable to create more opportunities. Or when you are in certain environments and maybe you see a man that catches your eye, and in that moment, you learn how to turn the switch on and become more approachable. Give him a little eye contact, throw a little smile, maybe give a compliment, something, you know what I'm saying? To, again, create, I'm going to keep saying that phrase, create more opportunities. But we're not stopping there. Let's talk about I'm going to use the word dreaded because for a lot of y'all, that's how y'all feel about it. The whole dreaded online dating. All right. Now, I don't think you should dread it. I don't think it's a bad thing. I think it's a great place to what? Create more opportunities. The problem that some of the problems that people have with online dating is they're taking the wrong approach and they're viewing it the wrong way. All right. Online dating is not some place that can guarantee you a perfect match, even though some of them may advertise it in that kind of way. It's not really what it's about. And it can't guarantee that every man you meet will be serious and of quality. But what it can do is give you more opportunities. And a lot of times life and dating can sometimes be a numbers game. Like over time we meet enough people and then you're going to meet that person that now it sticks. Now it's like, this is it, okay? This hit my spirit, so I feel the need to say this. Now listen, if you are a believer, pray. Maybe some of y'all, it ain't time to be on online dating. So I'm not going to tell you to jump on there if you feel spiritually led to not do it. But some of you are running from it, and you might be surprised that if you pray about it, you will be pushed into that direction. Be open to that. But either way, you got to go on with the mindset of this is just a place to meet people. But also with the mindset of if I'm going to jump on this, I'm going to do it right. A lot of people go online and they're half-stepping. They're not putting a full effort into it. They barely set up their profile correctly. They don't put up good pictures. All these various things that lower their chances of having success and having more opportunities. So if you're going to do it the right way. Put in some effort. I have had clients get married from online dating. So success can be found, but you have to put yourself out there. So whether that's in person, whether that's online, find ways to create more opportunities and again, enjoy the experience of it. And that will make it feel a lot easier, run a lot smoother for you, and just overall be better. All right, so now let's get to the next one. And this next one is one of those exceptions where this is outside of your control, but I want to talk about it anyway. So another reason why dating men is so hard is because a lot of men aren't being honest. Plain and simple. You have men out there who are in relationships, not being honest about it. You have men not being real about where they are in life, their financial situations, their actual intent with you. You know, there's a lot of things that men are lying about. And this creates a lot of frustration. This creates a lot of negative energy within you. This can cause you to be very discouraged. So one, I want you to understand, do not let this discourage you. Understand that though there are many who are lying and being despicable in the way they're going about things, that's not everybody. Do not project that onto all men, all right? There are tons of men who are trying to be honest and straightforward and be transparent with you and are trying to create healthy relationships. So do not let the bad ones blind you from recognizing and acknowledging the good ones. Now, I feel the need to say this real quick, another one of those hit your spirit moments. I feel the need to say, listen, one thing I want women to also embrace, and we'll get back to this whole men are lying thing, is when you say there are no good men out there, or there are no honest men out there, let's be more specific and be honest with ourselves. Many of you know a good man somewhere. Many of you. Maybe not all of you, but many of you. He may not be the good man that you want. Okay? That's a different issue. But you can acknowledge he's a good man. Some of y'all try to put that good man onto your cousins or your friends or someone at church or whatever. So there, you know they exist. But yes, the difficulty is in finding a good one that you want and that wants you as well and that you guys can come together. The reason why it's important is because when we get stuck into that negative talk of there are none, there are none, there are none, then when a good one presents himself, you will have a hard time believing it. You will question everything about it because you're programming your mind to say, no, they're not out there. They don't exist. So now when one is there, it's like, nah, something's got to be wrong with him. It can't be this good. He must be setting me up for a lie later. Okay. Let me also say that I do think to some extent, I don't know if there's anyone on the face of this earth that's never told a lie. So when we call people liars, I'm more speaking of the consistent liars, the people who are saying lies that are significantly relevant to the health of the relationship, the ability to even move forward, these things. Not speaking to the person that the small lie here and there. Not that that's okay. But I do think we have to be honest with ourselves that, you know, again, we've all engaged in it at some point in time. So there are instances where, let's just say, for example, I'm trying to think of an example. Let's just say the guy wasn't completely honest about what he does for a living, and not honest as far as he didn't mention it. But let's say the reason why he didn't mention it was because he didn't know how you were going to take it. Let's just say, I'm just using this as an example that popped in my head. he's a garbage collector. And he's gotten some judgment in the past about being a garbage collector. And so when you asked him, maybe he kind of dodged it, right? If that then comes about that you find out he lies, do I think you should just write him off as, oh, he's a liar like the rest of these guys and that? No, I don't think so. Because I think that unfortunately sometimes people get afraid and they mishandle things. In those moments, you have to ask yourself, has he shown himself to be a man of good character in general? Has he been showing up in this process of dating or relationship the way that I need to in general? And this is kind of an outlier issue? Or is this an example of, or is this an extension of him consistently lying in other areas or consistently not showing up the way that he needs to, consistently not being intentional in what we're doing here? Then I would say, okay, you take that lie, not as in that specific issue killed it. It's that was the icing on the cake. That was the confirmation that, yo, you're just dealing with someone who can't keep it real with you. Keep it moving. I just wanted to add that perspective, okay? But ultimately, yes, there are a lot of men who are being dishonest. And I think it's important that you make sure, before I wrap this point up and move on to the next one, we're not excusing the dishonesty that many are engaging in. But if you want to meet or you want a more honest relationship, more honesty in your dating process, then make sure you're being honest too. I can't tell you how many times I've seen women who are overlooking the fact that they're doing the exact thing that man is doing. They're not being fully forthcoming. They are giving white lies, so to speak. They are twisting some truths. But because to them it's validated in the sense of I'm protecting myself or whatever, they don't see it as the lies they are. And they're not recognizing and registering that, well, guess what? If you think you can lie out of protection for self, well, don't you think that man will think the same way? You got to make sure that if you want that in your life, you have to bring it too. So make sure you're being honest, you're being transparent and all these things. But do not be discouraged by those who are out here being very deceitful. All right, so let's keep this moving. And the next reason why dating men is so hard, and this one is very important for me to talk about, I'm very passionate about, is that you aren't trusting your intuition. Now, typically I would have left this for the last point on the list, but I felt like, nah, this one needs to be said a lot sooner before any of y'all get distracted by something else. I am a firm believer in women's intuition. I have not come across a woman who can say her intuition was wrong. I think that there are some women who may confuse their intuition with fear, right? And have allowed fear to dictate their actions and decisions, and that's where they've gone wrong. But true intuition, I have not seen that fail a woman. I've only seen women struggle with embracing it and accepting the blessing that it is. And when you're not accepting and embracing it, it creates more difficulty in the dating process because it leads to unwanted circumstances that could have been avoided if you listened to your intuition. It can help eliminate one of the other issues I'm going to talk about later about men lingering on, but I'll hold that for the later point. Just so much that can go wrong because women are looking past their intuition. Now, one of the things that's happened to a lot of women is that I've noticed is that though you guys understand intuition, sometimes you get so lost into your desire. And what I mean is like you meet this man and you like what you see, all right? Whether that be physical, his resume, whatever. And in your mind, you want this. You want this to work. And let's add even more to it. What he's presenting to you so far is good. Like he's not necessarily showing you a red flag, so to speak. Maybe not a blatant one, maybe some yellows, okay? But maybe not red, or maybe you just don't want to see it as red. That's a whole different discussion. But anyways, things are looking pretty good. You want this. But there's something in you, your intuition, your spirit saying, this ain't it. He's not the one. But because you're so consumed by your desire, you're like, nah, I'm good. I'm tripping. You will now try to say that your intuition is fear or your intuition is your own mind playing tricks on you rather than accepting and respecting what it really is. And you push forward, you rationalize past it. And then whether it be days later, weeks later, months later, years later, babies later, marriages later, and the whole thing falls apart. You're able to see, if you're going to be honest with yourself, that you always knew. And it could have saved you a lot. Now listen, I don't want you guys to hear that and beat yourselves up for those of you who've experienced that, who are living it right now. Maybe you're even in a relationship where you ignored your intuition and you're not happy and you're trying to find ways to hold on, but deep inside you know you don't belong there. And that's tough. That's tough to deal with. And it's tough to accept that, damn, if I would just listen to my intuition, I could have avoided this. Let's not cry over spilled milk. Let's not beat ourselves up. Let's just learn from it. Let's figure out how we can do better moving forward. Let's be mindful of these things, all right? That's what's important. Not dwelling in the past mistake is learning not to make that mistake going forward. So tapping into your intuition is going to be extremely beneficial, but also understand that it gets easier to listen and embrace your intuition when you do two things real quick. Heal from your past and get more in tune with God. That to me will unlock an even greater ability to feel, hear that intuition, to embrace it, to respect it, to honor it. All right? So do the foundational work that's going to strengthen you in that area. Hey, thank you for watching this video. Be sure to check this one out right here, and I'll see you there. So, one of the most popular questions or topics that people search for on YouTube is how to make a man miss you. All right. Now, if you've been following me or watching my previous videos, you know